Cheating on NBA 2K26 has become an epidemic at this point. We are a few months in the 2K26 title, and I'm talking to the man who's calling it out the most here on Twitter. Now, if this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel because you're going to get a lot of videos like this talking to some of the biggest creators and names in the 2K space. And like the video, of course, as well, so we can push this further in the algorithm. I want to talk to somebody that you might know on Twitter. He's been the guy that's been calling out a lot of the cheating and a lot of the folks breaking the rules, and that's no one other than JABridgeforth. So this is episode 3 of Good at the Game with Ja himself. Finally, the man, the myth, the legend, the meme. What else could we call you? The character. I feel like
face of the 2K community.
You've been called so many things over the course of the last few years. And if you're not on Twitter, like a lot of folks may not know, but I'm here with the legendary JABridgeforth. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Some people call me Josh. Some people call me Jades. I'm fine with either.
Okay. What do you like to be called? Is it Jay?
Yeah, Ja.
Ja?
Yeah, like Ja Morant.
Oh, okay. I kept saying JA because it was always capitalized. So I was like, oh, JA, JAB. So here with Ja then. Big Ja. Voice of the community right now when it comes to like news updates, troll, man, what else? Calling out players on the BS and calling out players on cheating and getting in beefs. It's like you're all over the place, man. And the reason I wanted to hit you up because I've done a few interviews before this, but I wanted to jump you in the front of the line because a lot of folks don't really know your story and don't really know like where'd you come from when it comes to like your impact in the community discussions right now. Over the course of the last year, 2 years, I want to say, I feel like you blew up kind of quick. So definitely want to give you like a platform to introduce yourself and kind of go over the journey of from when you started playing 2K or getting involved in 2K to where you're at now.
The 2K community, how I got into it was probably back in 2K18. A lot of people don't know probably that are on Twitter, but in 2K18 was when I first started really actually streaming the game and playing the game more like and posting. I would actually post content on YouTube and ended up hitting like 99 overall that year. In like August, like a month before 2K19 came out, and I had over like 1K viewers in my stream, which for 2K18 and at the time, like the game was pretty dead at that point. So a lot of people came into my stream. That's how I met a lot of like content creators, things like that. And then from there, I just found this niche in like posting on Twitter. And then in like 2024 is when I was like, I would get a little bit frustrated with some specific like 2K news accounts. I felt like there was a huge like disconnect between like getting information to the community and then like just reporting on the community. So that's when I like on my main account, JABridgeforth or JABridgeforth, I started posting the news for 2K24, like anything that 2K would post, stuff that happened in the community, things like that. But I noticed throughout that year in 2K25 that there was an issue with my opinions getting misconstrued with actual news. And then what ended up happening is people would just get frustrated at me and annoyed. And so then that's when a lot of people don't know, and I don't mind saying it, but that's when in 2K26, I created the account, the 2K Central, which is now like strictly 2K news, strictly 2K content, community drama related stuff. So if you go to that page and scroll down, it's way more organized and way more clean. And then obviously on my main account, I still am very passionate about the 2K community and NBA 2K as a whole. So I tweet a lot of that stuff, but it's way more opinion based. And obviously, like you said, I'm like, calling people out because I just want like integrity in the game, in the community. I feel like there's, the community has its ups and downs, but I feel like right now it's at a good point to continue to grow. And that's all I really want is to see the game grow, see the community grow, see, good content creators and streamers be lifted up. And I feel like that hasn't happened at certain points throughout the last, 4 or 5 years. But right now, it's like, that's why I just enjoy watching it, enjoy posting about it. And honestly, like, just enjoy just the 2K community as a whole. So,
yeah, I'm about to say, like, the one thing I've noticed about you is that it's hard to really find a middle ground in what I've been seeing on the timeline, at least, like from the outside looking in. I mean, your perspective might be a little bit different, but it seems like people either really love what you're doing or people just absolutely can't stand you. It seems like there's like creators that you got beefs with, and then there's creators you're actually really cool with. So like, I want to see your perspective of it. Do you see? Does it seem like you're like more hated than loved in the community, or like why are you why just in such both sides of the spectrum? Why can't people just be cool with everything?
Yeah, it can definitely seem like that, and I get a lot of hate. And I think a lot of it has to do with there's creators that have like over 1 million subscribers that I've called out like for abusing like 2K's terms of service, like for 2K26 specifically. And then there's like the occasional like quote retweet where I quote retweet someone because I see like them saying one thing here, and then on another post they say something completely opposite. And so then I just will like voice my opinion and kind of like call in a way of like calling them out, and then get blocked. But on the same sense that there's other creators that are big as well. Like I would say, like even I've checked like everyone that went to 2K26 community day, I've looked like at their profile and I feel like I'm either blocked or followed. It's like there's like you said, there's really no in between, and I get it. Like I don't really mind. Like there's people that I blocked. I get it. It can get annoying. You load up your timeline, you just see the same tweets for someone. So it's not so much those people. Like, but yeah, I definitely agree that it just seems like I'm just very vocal on Twitter, and I think people are vocal as well, but they're vocal in other ways, like through their streams, their YouTube content, their TikToks. And so when I go watch those things, a lot of times they're saying the same things that I say, but Twitter is just a platform that's used by content creators and streamers more, and like people that are more like tapped in to the community. And so those are the people that obviously like are going to see those kind of things. And I guess it could get annoying a little bit, but yeah, I don't know.
Is there a certain type of thing that you're looking for in particular? Like, do you just drama just like kind of show up at your doorstep, or are you kind of like searching it out? Like, is there a certain type of news that you would like to cover the most?
I honestly, it's pretty much anything. And obviously whatever is like hot at hand and popular to talk about is what I talk about. So like when it comes to like a gameplay issue, like a contest system, like obviously that was a big topic at one point, like a month ago. And so a lot of people were talking about that, and I posted about that. But even with that, there were things that people were saying like, oh, well, shot contest systems should be realistic. But then on the other end, they were making tweets saying like, oh, well, why is everyone saying that 2K should be realistic? It's like, you can't have it both ways, and right. That's, I think my biggest issue is I control a lot. Obviously I have, and sometimes that can be hard to see. So I totally understand why people would, block someone for trolling, because they can't read between the lines. But at the same time, it's also hard for me to see if someone's trolling, like, because sometimes I think that they're not. And then if you call them out, you get blocked. It's like, okay, like, so do you really believe this? And then the next day say something completely opposite. That's, I guess, my biggest issue. And then when it comes to like, right now, my biggest issue with it in the game is just obviously cheating, people that use auto green devices and account sharing like for rep. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, what does it matter if someone hops on your account and plays a few games? And that's, I've gone through this in spaces and several tweets, and it's like, for me, it's not so much that someone's hopping on your account for a few games, it's that someone's hopping on your account for several hours, and then you're playing it off like you're the one doing it legit, and then NBA 2K's struggling to, enforce that. And I get it, because these are big creators, and these are not just like some Joe Schmo that's just playing the game on the weekend, And so those are obviously like things I talk about. I just try to keep things consistent. I'm obviously a human being, so I'm not consistent just like anybody else, but I try to keep things consistent when I talk to certain people. And then at the same time, obviously when there's people firing back at me, calling me things, then obviously I'm going to act a certain type of way, especially if someone blocks me. So then it's like my perspective obviously changes towards someone a little bit. I don't hate anybody. Like I have nothing against anybody, but at the same time, if someone's going to come at me, then my natural reaction is to go back at them. And so there will be things that I will say that maybe are not 100% factually correct, but at the same point, it's like, look, I'm not the one starting 99% of this beef here, Right.
I think I definitely get what you coming from. made content over the years to where I would just make a list and I won't troll or anything. I just make a list and I get called out and been called a lot of crazy things. So with you, it's definitely a lot more nuanced, and I feel like it's hard to really understand context and let's see if somebody's trolling when you're just looking at words and you're not really like watching the video or a stream. And it's hard to like really take the time to really understand the context of the situation. So have you had instances where you thought somebody was serious and they were trolling or something like that, and y'all maybe got into the DMs or got like hopped on a quick like Discord or something and chopped it up about it? Like, have you had those situations as well where things kind of got resolved?
Usually I can tell, and a lot of times I think for me, like I'm always the person that it can go either way. Like if you want to get personal, then I usually won't get personal. I don't talk about, like, I just keep it 2K related, 2K community related. People will personally attack me all the time and stuff like that. And generally I just ignore it. And a lot of times if it gets to a certain point to where it's that bad, I just ignore it completely, maybe block them and move on. But when it comes to like your question, I think a lot of times not really, but I can generally tell someone if someone's trolling when I troll back to them and then they don't block me and they just keep going. And I honestly appreciate that. Like there is people that are like, oh, well, this guy's, annoying. And I've heard things through DMs and people talking, but honestly, a lot of the times, like a lot of my DMs is mostly like supportive stuff. It's weird because when I first started posting about 2K news and drama stuff like 2-3 years ago, I would get a lot of DMs, like people like, just the worst stuff, death threats, all types of stuff. But now, like most of my DMs recently have been like really supportive, but a lot of times it just gets washed out, especially on Twitter and the internet. The positive just always gets washed out for the negative, because the negative is just it's drama. People just like it, and that's what they, boost up. But when it comes to like, trolling back at someone, it's people know, like there's people know, and then there's people that just don't know. And it's honestly hard. That's why I've tried to like stop it, especially after the game came out. Like when the game's leading up, like trolling, a lot of people just do it, people call NBA 2K26 the best 2K of all time the day before the game drops. It's like, obviously no, like that's not serious, right? And so that's why like now I try to like keep it a little bit consistent, but obviously like my main account is my main account. I just am opinionated, like I'm an outspoken person, and that's probably never going to change. And so whether I'm right or wrong, like I'm up for a conversation. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that I'm always up for a conversation and not like, oh, I'm going to shut you down, which is why I appreciate you reaching out, because it's like, I'm not here to like hate on nobody. Like, it's just like, this is also the internet, and I want consistency and not people to be like, hypocritical, and so.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like, it's crazy how, like, especially like today, just the way social media is, whenever somebody doesn't disagree, like just disagrees with somebody, they just don't want to talk to them. So, and with you, like we haven't had a chance to like have a conversation. I've always been like, I'm like a fly on the wall. I'm like to most of the community. So right. I don't really get to say a whole lot, especially with the league being gone. And that was really where I came up the most. So now I have like a broader audience, or I'm working towards a broader audience. It's still a lot of the community I still don't understand, and I don't really like to say things that I'm not fully knowledgeable on. So someone like you to have the ear on the street to a lot. And even when I went to community day, like I was like the smallest creator there. It was so much about the game and the way the game is built and its creators that I didn't know anything about. So where I was just kind of just chilling, like listening. So I was like, man, I gotta start hitting some people up and start learning a little more. So I'm glad you was able to take some time to chop it up. But I do have one more question, and then I'm gonna let you split. So if Evan, it's Evan CC. He's works for NBA 2K. He's like one of the on the like global community team. I don't know what his exact role is, but I've been talking with him for a little while, and he seems like a cool dude. I met him at community day. Real cool dude. He tweeted, generally, many bans come up with a rep reset, which is harsher consequences than the ban length itself. Repeat violations can lead to longer bans. And remember, it wasn't me. A friend used my account to cheat is not an acceptable excuse. Now, in this scenario, you are the judge, jury, and executioner. So anything when it comes to cheating, sharing accounts, along with like abusing plot holes, or when it comes to like one thing you called out again was like uploading streams. You called out a few creators for like using uploads on streams instead of actually streaming. So with these things, and of course it's nuanced and everybody's situation is different. Like, what do you think should be like the consequence for these actions?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like I feel like I'm pretty like lenient when it comes to like what I would want from 2K enforcing their terms of service. Like, and I get it. It can be pretty hard to like detect an auto green device, right? Because if someone's shooting 75% from three, people are doing that legit, right? And so if someone's shooting like that with a cheating device, that's going to be hard to detect. Now, I'm always of the mindset that 2K is a big, huge company, right? They have thousands of people that work in 2K. I mean, different departments and things like that, but there's a lot of people that work there. So I'm always of the mindset to push 2K to like bigger levels. And so I'm not okay with like, oh, okay, the game's okay, so let's just be happy. Like, I always want better. And so when it comes to like, you know, cheating and the 2K bans and stuff like that, specifically, like I've been talking more about like account sharing for rep. And the only way that like I found out about that is 2K implemented geo leaderboards this year. And it's really cool. They added it. You can be, you know, top 10 in your state. I think that's super dope, super cool that they did that. But the negative to that 2K may have realized was going to happen, may have not realized. I don't really know. But when I look at the geo leaderboards and I would scroll through it every couple of days for like 5 minutes, it was like not like a whole lot of research or deep diving that I was doing, but I would see an account be in like Texas one day, and then the next day I would go to the geo leaderboards to look at my rank and others, and then they would be in another state, and then they would move to like the UK. And at that point I was kind of like, okay, what's really going on here? Why are these accounts moving states? You know, I get it, you could fly to another state, but you're not going to fly to the UK and back to the United States every other day. Like, that's just not logically going to happen. And so then that's when I started doing a little bit more research on like, hey, what does geo leaderboards, you know, entail? And for me, and I've talked to a lot of other creators, they've been in the same state the whole time that they've been playing the game. And so to me, like, that's when I was like, okay, well, these guys are obviously having people hop on their account to play the game. And it's not so much like, I get it, people grind their badges, their build specialization and things like that. And a lot of people was like always arguing with me points that I didn't really care about. My thing was just like keeping the top 10 leaderboards, specifically like park and rep, like legit. And so, you know, accounts are about to run a geo leaderboard, obviously that's suspicious. And so if they're account sharing and have people grinding their accounts, to me, they should be banned, or at least their rep should be reset. And I don't even know if their rep being reset completely, like you could just like take half of it away. Like, I'm more lenient than what 2K is actually doing. Like, people today got their rep reset, they got banned yesterday. And to me, like, that's even kind of extreme, but people are saying, oh, they should permanently ban them. And that's where I'm just like, 2K just has to do something. Now, I think that there's been a lot of people from the last several rep grinds that have account shared and hit top rep. And there's people that are saying that only Red City Boy is the actual only person that hit it legit and didn't have anybody on his account. Now, it's hard for me to know. We had no way to know anything about those games, but with them adding geo leaderboards, we were able to like get some information to get suspicious. And then when you call people out and then they have no argument to it, and then they basically admit fault without admitting fault, like they just have no argument, they have no reason why it's happening except that it's a glitch. But if it's only glitching for 5 or 10 people, then it's not a glitch, right? And so that's kind of like my biggest thing. And then obviously, like, there were people that were banned yesterday allegedly and then got banned a few hours later. Now, come to find out, Evan did tweet about this, that it wasn't him who unbanned the people, but still it's like one of those things where it confuses a lot of the community, because if only certain people are getting banned for doing things and not others, then it's, you know, it seems like there's favoritism going on. Now, I'm not going to say 2K's playing favorites, but it just is confusing when it's only certain people being banned and not others, and not being implemented across the board. But like I said, I don't know how 2K does their, you know, TOS or tracks all that on the back end. But for me, it's just frustrating to see people, because I've hit top rep before. I mean, it took me 9-10 months to hit it, but like, I've hit it before. So I know what it takes. I had a friend that hit second, you know, 99 in 2K18. So I know, like, I sit in Discord with them. I know what they're going through. you know? And so when I see people cheating the system, that's when I'm like, okay, it's not fair for others, because there is people trying to do it legit and they're not going to be able to do it because other people are getting away with cheating, you know? And so that's, I think when it comes to, you know, what Evan posted about, like, that's where, for me, it's just like, I'm actually great that they're talking about it, because there was no tweets for 2 months about people cheating or account sharing or auto green devices, right? And so now that Evan made a tweet about it, it's becoming to light, and hopefully it just makes the game more fun and more legit, because it's not fun to go up against someone that's using a 𝐒𝐻IN or someone that's, you know, a Legend 5 because they had several people on their account. Like, that's not fun for the average person, you know? So
yeah, I hear you on that, man. I get what you're saying, man. I think that's pretty realistic, and it is good that it's becoming more open to talk about, because especially with this year, last year it was easy to cover cheating because nobody was able to shoot, and
right.
the way they changed up the shooting mechanics made it so like cheating was almost impossible. You couldn't register a certain a green window on your devices, so due to the fluctuation of each shot. So, and then they were like, okay, you didn't like that, we'll give you the cheating back.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's like, in a way, we kind of asked for it.
Yeah,
because they're like, oh, we're gonna take away the RNG factor of it, and now boom, we're going back to cheating. But at the same time, it's a better game in that sense. So
sure,
you got to
right.
take, yeah, it's definitely a balance there. There's no good without some level of bad to it. So
right, and that's what I'll say. Just like to make one more point is that, like, for me, this game is fun. Like, even with the cheating in the game and everything that's going on, like, I wish it was more enforced, you know, the TOS, but like, I still have fun on this game more than I have the last several years. It's fun to play the game. When I green my shot, it goes in. You know, when I don't have my shot, it doesn't go in. Like, that to me, that's a fun 2K, you know. And there's a lot of different things to play. I mean, there's several issues with the game that I've like expressed, but when it comes to like this game, like, I enjoy it for the most part, you know. But then there's, you know, like, people that talk about skill-based matchmaking and all that, which we didn't really get much into in this interview, but there's other issues. But when it comes to the actual game itself, the gameplay, like the different modes to play, like the city, everything, like the actual game itself, like, I enjoy it. It's fun. So
yeah, I agree, man. I mean, and this is my last question, and I'm gonna let you get out of here. Is there anything that you're working on? Anything you're like kind of pushing towards? Are you looking to possibly work with 2K in some capacity, or are you gonna come up or kind of step away, or not step away, but like expand off of Twitter and work on other platforms?
yeah, I mean, right now, that's something that I started. I should have started a month ago, but I started posting on other platforms, specifically for the 2K Central account. Not as much because it's just getting started. But that's kind of where I'm looking. And honestly, like, I just enjoy doing that. I enjoy watching people's streams, posting clips, posting content. Like yesterday, like, I watched the NBA 2K stream. There's things that Evan says in those streams that don't really get posted onto like a platform per se. And so, like, you know, clipping those, posting those things, and just keeping a page that exists for someone to go to click, that has entertaining, like, short clips from people's streams, that, in my opinion, is only there to like drive the content to their streams, right? So if I post a streamer's clip, it's short enough to where you don't get the full story of everything that might have happened, like the full game or whatever, or it's a build that you're like, okay, this is a great build, but I want to know more about this. I'm gonna go click this person's video or go to their YouTube channel, things like that. So I don't try to post people's actual content, and then obviously keeping up with the 2K, any 2K news patches, things like that, posting all those kind of things. So that's kind of like my goal, is to keep growing that, just going forward, and then kind of see where that takes me. And then when it comes to working with 2K, obviously I'd love to. Like, I think that sometimes my opinion and trolling can be a little bit misconstrued by people that work at 2K. So hopefully this interview, like, hopefully some people from 2K watch this interview and realize, man, this guy's just a regular person like the rest of us, and he just, you know, tweets a lot, and he's just passionate, you know. So, and obviously, like, there will probably be different things that I have to like approach, in different ways I'd approach things, if that like ever came to like light, working with 2K, you know, 2K community day, everything like that, because there's probably certain things I say that I probably shouldn't say. But when it comes to, for the most part, I would say, like, I'm a pretty down to earth person. Like, I'm not like someone that's you know, raging and upset all the time and just like pissed off at people. So
Nah, I feel you, man. Well, again, appreciate you for taking the time, you know, out of your weekend to go chop it up with me. This is Good at the Game here with JABridgeforth.
appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching.
All right. I appreciate y'all for watching the entire video. Go ahead and give this next video a watch because I think you're going to enjoy it. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, love y'all. Remember that.